Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome back for another card. Today I've got a really cute donut card, which you can use as a Valentine's Day card if you want. I used the My Favorite Things striped background stamp and the I Love Donuts set by Simon Says stamp, which has a lot of different donuts and accessories and things like that. It's fun. So I'm going to start off by inking up my My Favorite Things stamp with some Avery Elle Sea Glass pigment ink. Now, because this stamp is 6 by 6, you can have the stripes going horizontally or vertically, and mine are going to be horizontally. And so I'm going to ink that up really well, and I'll put my cardstock on the stamp, and that allows me to really get good coverage because I'll put a scratch sheet on top and make sure that I rub it all over with my fingers and make sure I don't miss any spots. And this is how I clean my stamps. I use a baby wipe, the big background ones, and I just kind of keep rotating the baby wipe to the clean areas, and I just keep wiping until it's all gone, and it comes off really easy, the pigment inks. Alright, now I'm going to stamp my donut. I'm going to use the large size. I've got some Memento Tuxedo Black ink and Nina Solar White cardstock. So I'm going to stamp that down, and I'm going to bring my Copics out. So I'm using R85 first, and what I'm going to do is just outline the edges of the frosting. I'm just going to do a thin line all the way around, and notice that I'm leaving just a little bit of white between my Copic marker and the black outline. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I feel like there's going to be like a little light reflection right as it hits the edge of the icing. So I'm going to leave a little bit of white there. The next thing I'm doing is R83, and all I'm doing is making little tiny circles all the way around, not coming too far into the center because I want to leave enough space for kind of the light reflection on the shiny glazed donut. So I'm going to do that on the outside of the R85 line and then on the other side with the R85 line. Now I did a freeze frame right here so you can see. Now if you just stop for a second, you'll notice that even with the white just looks good as a light reflection in and of itself. Now it's a little bit too white, so we do want to add a little bit of color there, but I'm taking my R81 and I'm going to start off going pretty solid on the R81, but not too much color. I'm not laying down too much of the ink. And then notice that as I move around, I'm leaving kind of flecks of white in between my coloring. And then when you look at it, it actually looks like it's a round donut with a glossy shine on the icing. Okay, so my donut is going to be chocolate, so it's E27. I'm just kind of going around in different areas, not being too, there's really no pattern to it. I just wanted it to look a little textured. So kind of dark in areas and light in areas. And then I took E25 and filled in the rest. I'm going to do the same thing on the inside here. Now there is a sprinkles stamp that comes in the set, but I wanted my sprinkles to be pretty defined, so I took my white gel pen and I randomly put them on myself, and I really like the way this turned out because it's a gel pen, it kind of is a little bit raised off the cardstock. And I was really happy the way my donut turned out. So I'm going to cut it out, and now I also wanted to cut the inside of the donut out, so the first thing I did, and I'll show you here as soon as I'm done cutting, is I took a paper piercer and my piercing mat, and I just poked a bunch of holes, and then I started cutting it with my scissor. And it was going fine and well, but then I decided, wait a second, I have a circle punch that I think might work here. So after I did that, I punched out the circle and realized that, wow, this really does work pretty well. So I just had a little bit of white left. So if you have a circle punch or even just a little punch of any sort, just to get it going with the scissor, you can always cut around the edge to finish it off. Now, because I can see some of the white cardstock on the edges, I took a brown, it's a chocolate chip marker by Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to color those white edges. Alright, this set is another set by Simon Says Stamp called Baby Love, and I'm just using the hearts in it, so if you have any kind of sequential heart stamp, you can use it here. And I'm going to ink up just one of the hearts with Rosebud Memento Luxe ink. And because it's clear, it's really easy to do. And I was going to stamp it right there in the middle of the donut, but then I decided to mark it instead. So I just stamped that with some Rosebud, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the edges of the donut because I want the hearts to be coming out, but I don't want it to be shown on the inside of the donut, the light pink ones. So I'm going to stamp on the outside of the donut on both sides using Angel Pink. Again, it's Memento Luxe pigment inks. This is the sentiment, or one of the sentiments that comes with the set, and I'm going to stamp it right below the donut. So I'm going to do the top portion on the sea glass and then the bottom in the white, so right on the stripe. Now I'm going to take my panel, which I've trimmed by the way, to 3 3/4 wide, and I'm going to center it on my card base. Now I've cut these 1/4 inch strips of early espresso cardstock by Stampin' Up, and this will finish out. So 1/4 and 1/4 is a 1/2 inch, and then when you add that to 3 3/4, you get 4 1/4. So I'm gluing them down because that'll make it easy to kind of make sure that they're in place, and then I'll trim off any excess that I have. And then finally I'm going to take my donut and put some dimensionals on it so I can pop it up right over that rosebud heart. And I actually thought about putting some glossy accents on the donut. Oh, here I am putting some Wink of Stella just to add some shimmer to that middle heart. But anyway, I was going to add some glossy accents to the donut, but I just didn't want to ruin it with the sprinkles and everything. I just thought it looked good on its own. But you could experiment with some other things like embossing paste and things like that. There's a lot of fun things you can do with this donut. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.